We live, McKinley?
We are working on it. We're live. So, what's new in Loma Town?
Dude, we're getting ready for another sale a week from this today. We'll have our other Friday sale. And like I said, the drought hasn't really completely subsided or gone away. I mean, we haven't really got a huge flush yet, thank God, but there's some cattle coming from some of these parts that are a little too dry for the liking of everybody.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you
I
what, the
know
coal
it's
cow market's good.
yeah, that's good. How was the sale last week?
The sale last week was actually really good. It was the best sale we've had in a while. I'll just pull it up. Let me see if I can pull up my market report here. But and as always, you can go to get the market report at lomalivestock.com. I'm gonna go there right now just to make sure everything's working with it.
Awesome.
But we had a lot better. No, that's not up. Dang it! Better get on that. Give me a second. I'll go to my second place thing inside my inbox.
No worries, man. Yeah, it's I know it's been dry down at my dad's place. It's been real dry here. Um yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's just not a good year all the way around. It's
It's
dry.
just
The market sucks. The world's gone crazy.
I'm gonna share
Uh,
my screen with you just for fun. I don't think anybody cares. Or whatever. But this is Loma Livestock market report that should be on lomalivestock.com, but it isn't. I'm gonna put that blame on somebody else, but I'm gonna get that on there just to keep. But actually, like, it was really damn good sell. I mean, look, our high selling cow is 74 cents and our low was at 60.
yeah, that's pretty good.
It was awesome. We had some really nice pairs there out of New Mexico. These Craig Nelsons, really nice pairs. 1800 is kind of the high pair in that bunch. 1650 was a low pair. There's another bunch out of Ridgeway, a little bit smaller calves, but these were some dang nice cows that we had. So we had a few like older pairs at 900. They were almost worth it to split and sell. The bulls 92 cents at the high, but we actually had a $1 bull, so this is printed wrong. But 79 on the low and 92 cents on the high end of the bulls.
That's
I
pretty
thought,
good.
yeah, I really liked what was going on. Then 500 to 550 pound steers brought 157 and a half average. 500
That
is,
ain't bad.
you
That
know,
ain't a bad
140.
little price.
It's not bad. And you look over here to this 550, 600, 145 and a half. Come over here to the heifers, 7 to 750, 118. The heifers at 112. Yeah, look, the heifers still not as desirable as, like, look at this 136 to
Mm,
the 750. So we're all 20 back on those big weights on the heifers. But the steers, they really showed some demand. I really like these at 136 and three quarters, and these eight and a
heck
halfs
yeah.
at 125 and a half.
That's considering what it's been, that's pretty decent.
And you got cows to cull or whatever, that if you are running a little short, and those dries are the best ones probably to turn into cash if you have access to them. Not saying everybody does, but this is a good opportunity to turn them into cash, these prices, and they're kind of consistent everywhere.
Yeah. What's their slaughter numbers looking like?
Slaughter numbers, that's another thing. We'll just get this out right here on. Let's see if this will open up our daily slaughter. Usually you have to, but the slaughter have picked up a lot. I'm gonna put this on just because it's easier to read. Get these from real good guys we used to go to school with.
Oh,
But
okay.
actually, and I can just look up the daily slaughter number for right now just to give it a. Let's just see what happened today. 119 a week ago, 115 a year ago, 119. You gotta like that. So we're killing
Yeah,
par with what we're killing a year ago in the
that's
cattle.
good.
So it
That's
looks
good that
like steer and
demand will
heifers.
be.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I said demand ought to be up too. People are it's kind of starting to open up, and people are wanting to grill. People are wanting to go out, so it's a good thing to see the slaughter numbers up. But I think demand's going to keep going up too.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty dang good. I mean that's really
Yeah,
good. I mean hogs are right there par with a year ago too. I mean you should start seeing a lot of this like on the same token the beef, the AM beef. I know the beef is coming down quite a bit, which it should.
yeah.
Um, but let's take a look at that real quick. Um, see if it's got it updated here. But see what the choice cutout value is doing. So it's down 437. That was as of
Okay.
yesterday. So it's not that's the PM read yesterday. 213 blended down to below a year ago levels. Um, so look, heavier productions making the beef go cheaper. That's actually what we need.
Yeah.
So with all that, I mean, look for your stores to be restocked again heading into this grilling season, and the packer probably having to keep elevating his kill. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think so. You know, you keep hearing about like the new spike in COVID and shit, and I just don't think they're going to get away with another shutdown. I don't see how they can, and so I think the and this is just me talking completely out my butthole on this. Like I really think this we're heading into a pretty favorable cattle market. I
yeah,
I don't I don't know what these subpoenas are gonna do. I don't know where that's headed, but just from a strictly market standpoint, I think things are looking pretty up. Like we're gonna see a ton of cattle getting slaughtered. And but I don't think you're going to see a decrease in demand, and I think you're going to see a push for more cattle to the plant. I that's and like I said, that is me completely talking out my ass, but it's the way it looks to me.
yeah. No, I think the kills are going to be. They're going to keep picking them up to meet this excess demand. Um, a lot of this money pumped into the market, is a little bit inflationary, which is like trucks or all this stuff is higher. I'm not saying beef has to be higher, but at some time there's got to be that spring method where everything is higher. We're looking at $40 oil pretty much today. Um, Kind of everything's taking a grip except for our protein show here on
Yeah,
the not the protein side, cold side, but on the warm side. So yeah, I think we're heading into better times. A lot of times they say sell cattle until the all-star break. So we're not going to have an all-star break this year, but usually it'd be around July 9th. That's
yeah,
not too far away. And so I think we're getting close to make the turn. I mean, I think a lot of people probably argue that longer term bottom is in with that 80-77 low kind of.
yeah. I think it's looking up. I what have you heard on these subpoenas on the big packers? I haven't heard much other than that they were subpoenaed.
I think it's a moving target to what I'm seeing probably on the daily guide, and I have not kept up with it. What the looks like is, and they've had a lot of these everything. Well, I got a text message the other day saying somehow like saying what did it say? It said the subpoenas continue even through, let me see, it's just some weird like headline deal. The 2020 train keeps them. I don't know what the hell this even means. So, but I think they're going to push forward with it. I mean, they are indicting some of these other CEOs, and I kind of think you might just this purely speculative again. Like some of these management figures might be having to take one for the team, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's looking like it's already is. Like the CEO of some, I forgot what other company, price fixing. He just got uh, some jail time. You might see it out of a lot of the. What are the fixes going to be? I don't know quite yet.
That's the part that worries me. Is what
Yeah,
are
I
the
mean,
fixes? Uh, I think it's good that this investigation is going forward. Like I think, yeah, I think you're going to see some sacrificial lambs, if you will, um, popping up here, and whether that keeps everybody honest, who the fuck knows, but it's I'm just a little worried about the solution because, as we all know, I'm pretty well opposed to all government solutions because look at who we have up there. That says everything.
that's I mean, and I don't know what that's. I'm so ignorant in what is going on. Maybe they're actually pushing to get some good things, but like as far as the market, as we say right now, God, it's a stagnant, sleepy, boring market for like 4 weeks. I mean, it seems like it stayed in the 87 cent range for. I mean, the low today was 94 and a half, and the high today was 96.17 and a half in June. In August, 95.22 to 96.55, a little more movement, $1.20. Just not much going on in the cattle market, but it's hard to, you got to be careful with the sleepy market. You don't really want to sell a sleepy market. And like we were talking, there's plenty of stuff that's out there that's pretty, what I would call kind of optimistic a little bit. I mean, I mean, you should feel a little optimistic about it, you know?
Yeah,
A lot of cattle to kill through, though. That's the thing.
yeah, we're they're definitely working through a backlog, and but I imagine that's going to raise the ground beef price a little bit too because we got a lot of extremely fat cattle getting killed right now.
Oh, yeah. You're going to want those. And like the Canadian imports, the steer and heifer slaughter is really up a lot, as well as like the cuts, but the ground beef is down. New
Is it?
Zealand's down. Yeah. But, you know, bulls coming into the country from Canada are way down, but slaughter cows and fat steer and heifer slaughters are up quite a bit. But as far as the imported meat, it's more in cuts than in grind right now.
Yeah. Are they still banning beef imports, or is that
Well, I remember that was something of a deal, but I don't think anything's been done on that.
okay? I
I
knew
don't.
that. I know there was an executive order on that, but I don't know if that how long that lasted or if that's been lifted or anything of the type. So
And,
I haven't
and
really followed up on that.
from what I read, and that's just on the data. I don't. I mean, we don't see anything. Don't see anything like that. But I need to look once again. Probably speaking out of term. Sometimes I get far behind on the political landscape, just looking at the market for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and just taking the factors that I can control and a lot of the times. And right now I'll share my screen again. The other thing we've talked about a lot is this drought map. This is the newest drought map.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think this is going to dictate so much. I mean, the market can really hurt you, but Mother Nature's the true, you
Yeah,
know.
she's a real bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
She
and she's the one that
if
hurts.
Mother Nature was an actual person, she'd be that bitch Carol Baskin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you're not gonna beat her. I mean, that's the Tiger King.
Yeah, I would ask her husband. You're not, you don't win that fight.
I'm trying to get myself through. There's the comparison. So I don't know. I mean, it looks like this drought grew a little bit here into this southern Colorado area that we were talking about from
Yeah,
last week, you know. And then if we compare it to uh let's see if we can go to last year just for fun.
just for funsies.
Just for fun, just to see where we're at. That's close enough. And there you go. I mean, hardly no drought last year.
Yeah,
There isn't even a red point on the map.
that's wild. Now it's a pretty large red splotch there across southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and into Kansas and that 5-state area there. That's right back in McKinley country.
Right there. I mean, I talked to a buddy in Kansas today. He said they got a little rain there, like West can, a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. So that was good news to hear. But they had 5 days and 5 nights. This is June 21st, 2011. Holy moly!
That was some depressing times, let me tell you.
I
That
mean,
was a
that is. I mean, so we're worse than we were last year by a good shot. But I mean, what's crazy about this is look, it was just the southern half that was in it, and the northern half was good. And then
yeah,
if we fast forward 1 year, I mean, this is the if we fast forward one, see June 19th, more or less. So Texas kind of subsided for a little bit, but it looks like that's where we caught it. This was a bad drought in the northwest corner, actually.
yeah.
So
I
I guess
remember that.
it's
That was when all those fires were raging, wasn't it?
yep, yep. And then
Yep. That
2018 was a decently dry year too, just the most recent. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to check out these drought. No year's ever going to be the same, granted, but just to kind
yeah,
of see.
it's a good
I
it's a
mean,
good
so
indicator.
we were a lot farther along in like a lot of the same drought area, but we were a lot farther along down into Arizona. It looked like we're right now.
Mm,
That is that's southwestern Nevada. It's not as bad.
yeah. What's a drought look like in say southwest Arizona? Like
Yeah,
if they get more than an inch of rain a year, is that considered a monsoon?
yeah, exactly.
So like
I
just
think
permanent drought in that part of the world.
yes. I mean, exactly. And so they must be shitting in high cotton or tall cotton with it not even having any drought. Probably great grass down there.
Probably. I would imagine. Yeah, it's that's why I don't know much like I know this is high desert here and I think an average year of rain is like 7 to 9 inches or something like that. So like yeah, you can just call that permanent drought. But there's a lot of live water coming off the Sierras, so it's it's a little different. Like even when you don't have any rain, if we got some sort of snowpack, you can still irrigate. But like back home, it was just dry. Like there's no live water even on a good year, and just when you get to like right now it's been over a year without any real precipitation. Man, shit gets
Oh,
tough real quick.
mm, mm. Yeah, that's tough country, really, because of the change it get.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's really good, I bet it's when it rains. I bet it's
Yeah, on a good year, there's no better cow country than the high plains. But if it don't rain, boy, it gets tough. It gets real tough.
it takes the other side real quick.
Yeah, yeah, that old buffalo grass does wonders when it's green. But boy, if it don't have any rain, oof, it gets tough.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what they're facing. So it looks like that's where the biggest drought looks to be. I mean, kind of the hardest, and like the Alamosa, San Luis Valley,
Yeah,
looking for some rain for those guys.
for sure. It's yeah, I hope we get it. I mean, it's I don't know. We were sitting pretty for a little while, and it's been kind of a wet spell since 2012. On average, and then so I guess it's about time for it to get dry again. I hate it, but it is what it is.
No, I know it's kind of a little like a part of the cycle.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like you're saying that the climate changes on a cyclical basis.
Yeah, I mean that's why they had to change the name to climate change. I think just
Yeah,
because the what was it first?
it was
Global
it was
warming.
global cooling, and then it was global warming,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now it's climate change, and now eventually they're gonna call it man-made uh, cyclical climate change.
yeah. So and then try to run on that front, which is like, well, yeah, that's yeah, okay. I think cyclical climate change is just what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. That's how it's worked since the beginning of time.
Yeah, so
Almost, it's weird.
that's just I mean, just let's just not try not to overthink this.
Yeah, I guess that would make me a denier of some sort. I firmly believe that we ought to do the best we can to clean up the environment, because no doubt we have some sort of impact on it. But to try and control the weather is like trying to hold water in a spaghetti strainer. It just you can't
Yeah,
do it.
fool's game.
And I think there's some very valid points on the environmental activist side, like water pollution, air pollution, all that is a very big deal. I think we can do some stuff to lessen that. I mean, you take a look at the shutdown, and LA's never had cleaner skies in like the last 100 years, but it's because nobody was driving. But it's but we get blamed here on the cow end for too many emissions.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It was a good eye opener for all that stuff, I think.
I think so. I think so. And it sounds like you're seeing a pretty vast exodus from the cities, which is, I think, a good thing as long as they don't come out here. I don't care where else they go, just not here.
Exactly. Well, that's it.
Oh,
This is we're seeing in Craig pretty good actually, you know, too. Just the same thing what you're talking about. I think people wanting to search for a little bit of a different than the city. And then they'll come here and want to kind of make it like that. But I think that makes opportunity for these rural towns in
well, I
some
think so
ways.
too.
It'll be a change though, which is, it'll be kind of a change demographic than what we're used to. But I think that's if we're gonna survive, we almost got to.
Yeah, it's uh it's a fine line to walk, because you don't want like the culture and the traditions to change, but you got to have an influx of people, which is gonna cause a little shift in the culture. But you gotta, I don't know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a weird conundrum.
It's like this whole thing that we're looking at. Like a being is like that's what I was telling you. I need to get more involved in a lot of these things going on politically, probably. But the market has so many movements and variables to it. It's almost like let it tell you. And it's hard enough to keep track of, anyways, with everybody's opinions. So,
Yeah.
but like we talked about earlier, market's kind of telling us maybe. I'm not saying we're completely done going down. We're down another 80 cents today, but like I just fundamentally, which why do fundamentals matter? They don't right now. We should be
Yeah.
moving up at some point, you know?
Fundamentals kind of go out the window when you pump trillions of dollars out of nowhere into the economy.
That's the hardest thing to understand, man, to really grasp and see what that effect is. And that's an ever changing beast.
Oh man, it's like we're gonna see the effects of this for probably a decade. minimum, I would say. I mean, you remember, like in '08 during the housing crisis, they pumped in $1 trillion. And we felt that it's about 8 years before, we came out of that recession. And they've pumped in something like 4 or 5 trillion already in 2 months. So we're going to be feeling this for a while.
Well, and then on that kind of same token, with that much more money out there, that's why I'm thinking there's commodities kind of have to spring at some point, because right now, like I said, $7 ground beef, $17 ribeye or whatever. I mean, what's the new norm as far as that kind of money getting pumped in? I mean, then all of a sudden is your $10 a pound ribeye or 12 cheap again, and 25 is high, like with the truck that's 50 last year, maybe 72.
Yeah.
Just because of all I don't know.
It's we were talking about that last night too. It just, used to, you could get a top of the line King Ranch diesel pickup for about 35, 40. And now for that same model, you're looking at, you're bumping up on 100 grand.
100 grand. Yeah.
And it's that is strictly just inflation. I mean, that's all that is.
And just cheap money keeping that down. Like, we should be seeing some kind of inflationary deals in the rates in the commodities, but the rates continue to go lower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it a hard read. I mean, the 10-year rate still stuck, the 10-year note still stuck below 1% at 0.69. Like you should be. I just think, I mean, maybe it's just the patience is gonna run out of everybody before maybe the market kind of does move. But if this thing keeps continuing like this, then I just have to think we'd have to springboard on nothing, based on nothing but all this money floating around, the inflation, like we talked.
It's I don't know. It's a weird market we got right now, but I don't know. We'll you just keep tuning in here, and we'll continue to tell you that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Yeah, but we're entertaining.
And neither does anybody else. So I mean, that's just the honest part of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Decipher what you want out of the info.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I listened to Ron Paul, and he's been banging the table about the Federal Reserve for the last like 40 years, and nobody's really listened to him. But he's been right on a lot of stuff, and he's pretty well predicting the collapse of the dollar at some point. And I don't know how you can argue against that when you just look at our current monetary policy. It's just, at some point, people realize there's nothing backing it, and it's gonna collapse.
That'd be bullish for commodities at one point. And you think that too, and I do too. That's what I've been playing. A lot of people do, but problem is, like when there's more turmoil, people want to buy dollar. I mean, you know what I mean? That's what just keeps this. I mean, we've been fighting. I mean, part of Trump's hardest fight has been a high dollar.
Yeah.
For trade, it makes it hard to trade with a currency like that, especially when you're up against Brazil and those other countries that, it's a lot easier to manipulate the currency, and they're not strong. So, I mean, people don't want to hold those kind of currencies through some of these times. I mean, when things settle down globally, I think our dollar will just pull back, just because those investors will be more comfortable buying those other currencies.
You're saying don't invest in the Iraqi dinar during a global pandemic?
That's in a simplistic way, yes. You
That's
know,
funny.
that's the only advice of the day, actually. So maybe that you can pin that advice back.
Yeah. We're gonna have any baseball this year?
That's what I'm not sure. I'm not sure about sports as a whole until we get to figure out what this liability holds.
Yeah.
As far
I
as
uh
how,
I was reading something that SMU sent out to all their student athletes, and
what,
it was like it was a waiver form, releasing the university from all liability, but you had to like initial it in 7 spots, and sign it in 3 different spots. I mean, it was it was pretty airtight liability waiver, from what I could tell it. And I don't know, it's crazy.
well, what about the fans? I mean, probably sign one of those like on your phone as you enter the gate or something.
I would imagine, or probably just be part of your ticket,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
by purchasing here, you waive uh, the right to sue, I guess. But I don't
That's
know, the owners are kind of being some real cocksuckers on the collective bargaining there on the baseball side. Like they're wanting to do a prorated um, salary payment, which is understandable. If you're only playing 82 games, you should only get 50% of your yearly salary. I mean, that part makes sense, but they're wanting to prorate it for the games and then only pay 75% of the proration. And I was like, well, you are just wildly just breaching contracts right there. Like,
I, I don't even know what I mean. I don't even know how I'd handle all that as an owner, and even in trying to be the player's shoes too as a player. I mean, I do think probably the toughest decision lays in the owner's hands in a lot of ways.
yeah.
I think that's where all the liability is held.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
what?
I don't know. It's at the same time, I'm just kind of pissed off at both of them. Just like, just put your fucking heads together and figure something out. Like, I would like to watch. Like, it would have been fucking cool to have Independence Day opening day of baseball. That'd have
Oh
been
no, that would have been awesome.
fucking sweet. That is just 100% America right there. I mean, you
Yep.
do the jet flyovers, you got eagles screeching. I mean, it'd be a spectacle for the ages. But now, no, they're bitching back and forth about millions of dollars versus billions of dollars, and nobody really fucking cares. Just like we want to see some baseball.
That's I mean I think it's just strictly not on insurance companies, but on people that if you don't do it right and open up your games and something happens, people just
Yeah.
looking to get more money sometimes. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying everybody's like this. I'm just thinking that's probably the risk to these guys getting it opened up.
Yeah.
Is
It
that
is. It is a risk for sure, and I don't know. I just
I wish it'd be there. Fourth of July would be, and I mean, I think we should just open up anyways. If we're gonna be partially opened up, let's just rock and roll.
yeah, quit pussyfooting around it. You
Yeah.
eventually it's going to be that way anyways. I mean, you're like they found it. They found out like you're not. You just can't keep people cooped up for that long, and it's going to open up whether they want to or not. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
quit fucking around and do it.
And like you said, with the stuff coming, there is going to be this return of it. We all knew that. And that's really going to be the true story. I don't think you're going to get anybody to lock down again. You know what I
No,
mean?
I don't think so.
I did hear something like the Florida bars and restaurants closed again or something, but I think that was just fake news. I haven't validated
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. You're seeing a big spike in cases, but I don't know. I've talked about this a couple times. If you read the headline, it sounds like the pandemic is worse than ever. Uh, but then if you read down 11 paragraphs, they say that the number of increased cases is due to the number of increased tests, and the overall hospitalizations and mortalities and everything is either declining or stable. So there, you're seeing that what you're really seeing is more people have had it than originally thought, and it's overall it's not nearly as bad as we were led to believe. It's still a rough deal, but it's, I don't know, it's this whole thing has just been stupid.
I know that just we just got to deal with the. I think me being a glass half full type of deal. What would come out of this, even though it's been stupid, and I won't even breathe a touch on whatever those opinions are. But I think we did get a stronger pull to where our food comes from, if not just for an
Absolutely.
extended window. And I think we got people more tied in with technology is not a bad thing. As technology is a good thing. And like I'm really pushing towards it throughout this whole fall. Because like I said, whatever it is, there's enough people that do social distancing for the basic flu, right?
Yeah.
During flu season, especially people with higher risks, right? And I mean, that'll probably still be heightened this year just because of the health risk, even if COVID is total fake or it's not, whatever. I mean, I don't think it's going to be everybody, but I still think that pull towards an internet base is going to be helpful. And maybe I'm talking my position a little, but I mean, I'm just still focusing hardcore on faster internet, better connections, doing a lot more now with traceability and putting a lot of EIDs in the cabs at the barn, even if the producers don't at this time, just for traceability and getting more 21st century with the barn as far as tracking even through as the livestock pass through the ring and the clerk and get sold and pinned back and, just panel readers, EIDs, a lot of different stuff. I think that'll be really cool. But I think that's what maybe the benefit of this deal has been.
Well, I think so. I think you're seeing a lot of people, companies, schools, and everything like, hey, maybe this virtual stuff is not too bad, and so
But
I think that changed the market for for a good thing. But with that comes a lot of creative destruction. You're going to see a lot of traditional type of businesses go under, and I think in the long run they probably were going to go under anyways. But this shutdown just really sped things up.
yeah, you don't want to see it. And then I think you see that traditional types of business going on. Like I like the old school and the new school kind of mix, and I think maybe businesses that make it kind of find that, that decent little, hey, still old fashioned customer service face to face, but we also have this other interface now.
Well, I think well, you may not have a traditional type of storefront. Like the market is still there for these locally owned type deals. It's kind of like I love advertising for folks that make cool shit. Like whether it's a hand braided halter or a rawhide Honda or knives, whatever. There's an opportunity to to showcase your talent like that and sell it. Like you said, you may not have a traditional storefront, but there's a market out there for it, and it's easier than ever to sell a knife, from a guy in Alabama to somebody in New Zealand or whatever. It's the markets. There's a marketing opportunity there that we've never had before.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a cool part, and with all this stuff going on and the money pumped into the economy, and then if we pick right back up and get to rolling again, holy moly, can you imagine the lengths of this?
Yeah.
For 10 years, I mean, maybe it's fake inflated to get it going. We have too much debt, but wow. I mean, there's also a topside potential here that's pretty large.
Yeah. I don't know. There's some optimism to be had, and you kind of got to search to find it
Yeah,
if you're
that's
just
when
going
you
off
know
of
you're
headlines. But
that's when you know you're starting to get the right way because you're having to search to find news to validate your opinion. That means you're
mm-hmm.
probably on the opinion, the less popular opinion,
Yeah,
which I like
yeah,
that.
I think so. I do too. I don't know. You have to search because headlines, the way news works anymore, you have to they got to have people click on headlines to
Mhm.
sell ad revenue, and the more shocking and fear mongering or hateful the headline is, the more people click on it. And so, even though the headline might be shocking, you read down into the article and you find out, well, that's not at all what the headline says, but they they got you to click. So sometimes you got to do a little searching to find the good news, but it's out there.
Yeah, no, that's it's out there. Like I said, you just got to be patient with it. I think there is still some concerns. Like I said, that whatever we think about COVID, the second rising of it, we'll see how we act upon it. But yeah, just keep. I mean, there are definitely concerns out there, but you just got to kind of. I think there's definitely some nice positive things too that are
I think
really getting
so.
covered up.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyhow, that's I think going forward, there's some optimism. You play your cards right, you can come out, pretty decent shape. There's a lot of marketing opportunity to be had if you can capitalize on it. There's a lot of people looking to hear the story of where their food comes from, and quite possibly pay a little bit extra because of that story. So tell a good one.
Yep, exactly. So it's
don't
exactly
don't
just
tell a shitty story.
yeah, be true to your good story. Don't be shitty behind the mask. Be honest to
Exactly.
the consumer and they'll love it. But and like I said, the market's gonna have to hang in there and be smart. Market when
Yeah.
we can. You're still gonna have to these market big loads of calves to bigger buyers. Still keep making that product that they like, no matter what changes. The good feeding cattle are the good feeding cattle.
Yep. That's absolutely correct. So, um,
All
yeah,
right.
I think we covered everything, George. I think
I
we
like it,
solved
bud.
some problems.
And I think for the next time, I got the sale on Friday. Those usually get crazy after. I mean, we could almost even do a Saturday market report next week.
All right, let's plan on it.
Okay, let's just try that out for now.
We'll go Saturday noon Mountain Time.
Sounds good. I like that.
Bingo, bango. All right.
Awesome.
Well, sign us off, buddy,
Let's go, McKinley, because we really are burning daylight right now.
for the first time ever. All
Yes.
right.
All right.
See you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
All right. We're off.